Hello everybody, welcome to this week's weekly Sizzle. Today I have joining me is Philip Schram, Chief Development Officer with Buffalo Wings and Rings, joining us again this week. He's been on this weekly Sizzle a few times already, so we're glad to have him again. So a few topics we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about kind of like the third quarter, the fourth quarter kind of push for franchising, and also what's kind of, what we see going on in 2016. We're also going to talk about Nick's column this week, talk about how to make a company last for 100 years and build on values. And then also we'll start a little bit when I kind of talk about one of our articles that just came out regarding the Whopper and the Halloween burger. So they have a black bun burger, trying to obviously create some buzz and interest about their brand from that perspective. So what's your take on a black bun all burger, Philippe?
Well, I think for burgers, the thing which is very important is the content. So you have the bun and you have the content. As long as the content is really fresh, and the ingredients, the flavor profile, they marry well together, then you have a good hamburger that people like to eat.
Yeah, it doesn't look very appealing to me, so I think the gimmick approach is interesting. We'll see how well that works out. So let's talk a little bit about Q3. I mean, everybody's kind of finishing up the third, obviously the third quarter is over, heading into the fourth quarter. What I'm hearing a lot from brands is now they're starting to do their planning for 2016. And what they should be budgeting for, how to plan, how 2016 is going to look. I've even seen some comments about the upcoming election, the impact that that's going to have. So a lot there. So if you wouldn't mind just to kind of talk about, have you seen a difference in the way candidates are approaching franchising today, as far as the 2015 to 14, and then what's your opinion on 2016?
So it's a good question. 2013 at Buffalo Wings and Rings, we had very low franchise sales, and that's when we started to work with No Limit. And basically they told us that it would be a twofold plan. The first year was more to prime the pump, so we would have kind of outstanding measure ready to prime, and then we would work on a much longer plan. So we did that very well. From 3 franchise agreements awarded in 2013, we went to 17 2014, so there was clearly identified measures that were successful. 2014, unfortunately, we had kind of dried a little bit the sales funnel. 2015, we had dried the sales funnel in 2013, so we had to rebuild it. So we were a little bit nervous, but Sean has a lot of expertise and we followed his guidance. So we started to clarify, so we work on the what, the why, and the how. The what was really to clarify the message, what is the brand. It seems that there was some confusion. So a lot of work with No Limit and our marketing team, and I think that we have done very well. The why is really to explain to an investor why they should look at our industry, and in particular at Buffalo Wings and Rings. And how, I want really to stress that No Limit has some very good technique and partner, especially with Front Connect. I think that we are very good with relationship with the prospect, but our process was kind of loose, and we did not pay enough attention to that. So working within Front Connect and the guidance that No Limit has provided to build the process has been very, very effective. And the thing that has changed drastically is that starting in the third quarter, suddenly we started to book discovery days every other week. Wow. Whereas for the first half of the year, it was more one discovery day every other month.
Wow, that's great. So third quarter obviously has been picking up, and the fourth quarter seems to be very strong for your pipeline. And to kind of just summarize what Philippe was saying, was one of the things that we looked at is, and I see this a lot of brands, is they talk a little bit they really focus on what they do and not really focusing on why this is a great opportunity. So we really worked on the positioning, the messaging around why, the consumer positioning, but why this is a great business opportunity. Really, we talked really focusing on the performances of the locations. So when you're looking at your process, I mean, obviously everybody says they have a process, but make sure it's very refined and the consistent messaging. But also hammering those types of points, like this is why this is a great opportunity, this is why it's a great industry, and this is why it's really good now. So those are all really good, important things.
Yeah, and if I can add one more thing. One thing that I love is that, especially through Front Connect, a lot of the material that are being presented and not anymore discussed over the phone are available all the time for the prospect. And I'm going to tell you a little joke. I like cars, and when I want to buy a new car, I need to get my wife on board. And for me, the best thing to do that is to leave brochures or a screen on my computer so that I can get her on board. Same thing here. When you have only a phone discussion, then your prospect, when he needs to discuss with his wife and with his trusted advisor, he has nothing to try to convince them. Whereas with the documents that are available through Front Connect, now he's going to work on your side to convince his entourage or environment. I think that this is very powerful. At least I have seen it for my cars.
Great. So next week is Franchise Update Leadership and Development Conference. So there's always a lot of great topics coming out of that. So let's talk a little about 2016 and what you think and the environment for franchising is going to look like, and is there anything that you're going to do differently in 2016 versus 2015?
Yeah, so, and let's say perhaps just a little word. So we are in the third quarter of 2015, so a lot of pressure because we all have aggressive goals to meet. So the end of the year, everybody is racing to meet the goals. And then it's lesson learned of 2015, what is working, what is not working, to start to prepare the budget. I think it's a little bit like presidential election. Budgets are always going up. You need to spend, it seems, more and more money to get the right candidate. I've been in franchise development either directly or indirectly for 10 years. The thing that I have noticed is that what works one year is not necessarily what will work the next year. So overall, you need to be very agile. You need to have dashboard. I think a lot of measurement, and work with good partners. Listen to what they say. Not be stubborn with your idea, and give a chance to innovation and new technique. And what doesn't work, you just put it on the side. You may keep it, on the back burner with a little bit of money, but all the time measuring what is effective in the next 6 months.
Great. So, just to kind of recap. It'll be interesting to see some of the changes in 2016, how the election and election season is going to affect franchise candidates. So I think it's going to be some great future conversations on how to approach that, because there's a tendency, I think, for candidates to kind of wait and see until what happens after the election, and that's a long year to wait and see. So you definitely want to address that with your candidates and prospects to keep that momentum going. Read Nick's column. It's going to be talk about to build a company to last 100 years. You must be obsessive about value, so it should be a good read, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that next week since we ran out of time. A lot of good stuff. Thanks again, Philippe, for being here, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Sizzle.
Thank you very much.